Welcome to Solving Systems of Equations by Elimination, Day 2. So yesterday, when we were solving with elimination, we were immediately able to go ahead and add our systems of equations. Today, we're not going to be able to do that. So let's go through our list of steps with our first example. So step 1, line up our matching variables vertically. So we have our x's lined up and our y's lined up. So check. Next, multiply one or both equations by a number that will make one of the variables match with the same number with opposite signs so that these terms can cancel out. Okay, so take a look at your equations. First thing you want to do is just cover up everything else. Okay, almost, there we go, covered. So, is there something that I can multiply by 2 to get 1? No. Okay, can I multiply 1 times something to get 2? Yes, I can. Okay, so I can multiply this x by 2 and it will give me 2x. But remember, they have to have opposite signs. So I need to multiply this entire equation by -2. I'm multiplying the entire equation because what you do to one thing, you must do to everything else to keep it equal. Okay? So I'm going to start by just copying this piece down exactly as I see it. So 2x plus 5y equals 3. And then I'm going to multiply -2 times x, which is going to give me -2x. -2 times -3y is going to give me a positive 6y. And then -2 times 7 is going to give me a -14. And now, with our variables lined up, one of my variables has the same number and opposite signs. So we can go ahead and add them. So then 2x minus 2x gives me 0. 5 plus 6 will give me 11y. 3 plus -14 will give me -11. So I have 11y equals -11. We divide by 11 on both sides, so y equals -1. All right. So we multiplied, we added, we solved for y. So now we need to plug in our answer and solve for our other variable. Okay. All right, so I'm taking my y equals -1, and it does not matter which equation you use. So let's use the top one. 2x plus 5 times -1 equals 3. Okay? All I did was substitute this -1 and for this y. So then 2x minus 5 equals 3. We're going to add 5 to both sides to get 2x equals 8. Divide by 2, so x equals 4. So then our coordinate point should be 4, -1. All right, that's a lot, okay? So take a moment, pause the video, take a look at what I did. When you're ready, we're going to move on to the next one, okay? Alrighty. So we are moving on to the next one. If we take a look at number 1, make sure that your variables are lined up, so we have m, n, and n, okay? Multiply one or both equations by a number that will make one of the variables match with the same number with opposite signs, okay? So let's do the easier one now, okay? Because look, we have n and n with the exact same numbers, okay? So we need to make one of them negative. So which one do y'all want to multiply by? Let's do the first one this time. Okay, so all we're going to do is change the signs of everything we have. So this positive m becomes a negative m. The positive 3n becomes a negative 3n. And the positive 13 becomes a negative 13. And then we just write this one down exactly as we see it. And since our variable n has the same numbers but different signs, we can go ahead and add them. So negative m plus 3m gives us 2m. Negative 3 plus 3 gives us 0. And then negative 13 plus 9 gives us positive 4. So we have 2m equals 4. Divide both sides by 2. So m equals 2. Okay. So now we are going to take our m equals 2 and we're going to substitute it into one of these equations. I'm going to continue to use the top one. So I have 2 plus 3n equals 13. I subtract 2 from both sides to get 3n equals 9. No, it doesn't. That equals 11. Alright, what did I do wrong? Okay, so this was right, and then 2 plus 3n equals 13. Subtract 2. Oh, it's over here. It's over here. Okay, so this was supposed to be a negative 4, which would have made this a negative 2. So I should have added 2 to both sides. I got you. Sorry, guys. And then divide by 3. And so n equals 5. Alright, so my mistake was when we added negative 13 and 9, I should have gotten a negative 4. And then when we divided by 2, negative 4 divided by 2 gave us a negative 2. So when I substituted this in, this should have been a negative 2, so that I added 2 to both sides to get 15. Okay? Alrighty. Whew, goodness. So let's try the next one. Hopefully it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, so first, make sure your variables are lined up. Then you want to check if you already have same numbers. Do we have same numbers? Nope. Okay, so then pick one of your variables. So I'm going to look at x first. Okay, so I'm looking at these. Is there anything that I can multiply by 2 to get me 4? Yes, I can multiply by 2. Now, since this 4 is positive, what do I need to multiply this by? I need to multiply it by negative 2, because I need this 2x to turn into a negative 4. So, negative 2 times 2x is going to give me negative 4x. Negative 2 times 6y is going to give me negative 12y. And negative 2 times 22 is going to give me negative 44. And then we're just going to copy this one down exactly as we see it. So 4x plus 2y equals 14. So negative 4x plus 4x gives me 0. Negative 12y plus 2y will give me negative 10y. Negative 44 plus 14 is going to give me negative 30. We divide both sides by negative 10, so that y equals 3. We then pick which equation we want to use. I'm going to use the top one again. And so we write 2x plus 6 times our y, which is 3, equals 22. So 2x plus 18 equals 22. We subtract 18 from both sides to get 2x equals 4. So x equals 2. Okay, so then our coordinate point is going to be 2, 3. We did not do a coordinate point for number 1 because we only do coordinate points for x's and y's. Alrighty. So we've gone through multiplying one equation. Let's step it up a notch. And now, if we take a look, So our first thing that we should look for is if our equation has the same numbers. So we have 2 and 5, obviously not the same numbers, and 3 and 4, not the same numbers, okay? Now, is there anything that I can multiply by 2 to get me 5? No. What about 3 to get me 4? Nope. Can I multiply anything by 5 to get me 2 or 4 to get me 3? No. So when we can't only multiply one equation, this means we have to multiply both equations. So pick which letter you want to multiply by. Okay? So I'm going to pick X because it's right there. Okay? So you need to find the least common factor, factor, and get it to that number. Okay? So if we write down factors of 2, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Whoops. Hold on. There we go, 10. And if we look at factors of 5, we have 5, 10, 15, 20. Well, if you notice, the least common one for both of them is 10. So when I multiply this equation, I need to get this 2 to turn into a 10. So what am I going to multiply it by? I'm going to multiply it by 5. And then I need to multiply our second equation to make this 5 also turn into a 10. So I'm going to multiply it by 2. Now remember, one of our numbers has to be negative. And it does not matter which one you choose, so long as you choose one of them. So I'm going to choose negative 5. Okay? And now I'm going to multiply negative 5 times 2x. It's going to give me negative 10x. Negative 5 times 3y is going to give me negative 15y. And then negative 5 times 7 is going to give me negative 35. Alright. And then 2 times 5 is going to give me 10x. 2 times 4y is going to give me 8y. And 2 times 14 is going to give me 28. Alright. So now we can go ahead and add them because our x's have the same number but opposite signs, which is exactly what we wanted. So we have 0. Anybody know what 15 plus 8 does? Or negative 15 plus 8? It's going to give us a negative 7y equals negative 35 plus 28 is also negative 7. We're going to divide by negative 7. So y equals negative 1. And then we're going to take that negative 1 and substitute it into one of our equations. And it doesn't matter which one. Okay, so I'm going to do the top one. So 2x plus 3 times y is negative 1 equals 7. So 2x minus 3 equals 7. We are going to add 3 to both sides. So 2x equals 10. Divide by 2. X equals 5. So then our coordinate point is 5, negative 1. Doing okay? Alrighty. Let's take a look at number 1. There's a lot of number 1s on this today. So, take a look. We don't have any of the same numbers. But is there something that I can multiply by 2 to get me 4? Absolutely. I can multiply this by 2. Now, do I want to keep this 2 negative? or should I multiply by -2? Good, I want to multiply by -2. That way I get a positive 4, because this one is negative, so I want this one to be positive. Okay? Alright, so -2 times -2x is going to give me a positive 4x. -2 times 5y gives me -10y. -2 times 8 gives me -16. And then we just copy this one down exactly as we see it for -4x minus 3y equals -10. And then we can just add. So 0 minus 13y equals -26. So -13y equals -26. We divide by -13, so y equals 2. Then we pick which equation we want to substitute into. Again, I'm going to use the top one. So -2x plus 5y is 2 equals 8. -2x plus 10 equals 8. Subtract 10 from both sides. -2x equals -2. Divide by -2. So x equals 1. So then our coordinate point is 1, 2. Alright, let's try the next one. Okay. Alright, so none of our numbers are the same because 5 and 3 are not the same and 7 and 5 are not the same. Okay? Because remember, we're comparing x's and we're comparing y's. And there is nothing that I can multiply by 3 to give me 5 or 5 to give me 7. Okay, so you have to pick x or y and multiply based on which one you pick. I'm going to pick x. Okay? So, an easy way to do this is to list out your multiples of 3. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And I'm just going to stop there. And then for 5, we have 5, 10, 15. Oh, here we go. We have 15s. So I want to multiply both of my equations by something that's going to make my x's turn into a positive and a negative 15. So I'm going to multiply my top equation by 3. And I'm going to go ahead and make my top one negative. Okay? So I have negative 15x and then negative 21y. And then 3 times 36 will give me 108, I believe, a negative 108. Okay? And then I'm going to multiply my bottom equation by 5. So 5 times 3 will give me 15x. 5 times 5 will give me 25y. And then 5 times 24 is going to give me some number. I don't have my calculator with me, so hold please while I do this quick math. So that 5 times 4 gives me 20. 5 times 2 gives me 10, plus 2 will give me 12, so that equals 120. Okie dokie. So now we can add them. So negative 15 plus 15 will give me 0. Negative 21y plus 25y will give me 4y. And then negative 108 plus 120 is going to give me 12. Yep, positive 12. So I have 4y equals 12. We're going to divide both sides by 4. So y equals 3. And then we are going to take our y equals 3, and we're going to pick one of these equations, and we're going to substitute it in. So 5x plus 7 times y, which is 3, equals 36. 5x plus 21 equals 36. Subtract 21 from both sides. 5x equals 15. So x equals 3. So then our coordinate point is 3, 3. Whew, that was a lot. But you did it. Okay? Alrighty, so now we can turn on to the back page. And as always, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. Alrighty. So for our back page, we are going to solve each system by elimination. Okay? So, let's get started. Take a look at our very first problem. Take a look at your variables. They're lined up, and then we have 3 and -3, so we can go right on ahead and add. So 8y minus 9y gives us -y. -3 and 6 gives us -3, so y equals 3. Okay? Then we are going to substitute that into one of our equations. So 3x plus 8 times 3 equals -3. 3x plus 24 equals -3. Whoops. Have to subtract 24 from both sides to get 3x equals -27. Divide both sides by 3, so x equals -9. So then our coordinate point is -9, 3. Okay? And then the rest of these are just more like this one. So how about you guys finish these up? And then you can get started on Delta Math, which we'll have more practice for today. All right, good job, guys.